Yo, haha, Magnificent. What is good, YouTube? Your boy Magnificent coming back with another quick video. Today I got the Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue Military Blues. And I actually wanted to kind of go over this shoe because this is the first time that this shoe has been on the Magnificent channel. It's the first time that I have ever owned any type of industrial blue, military blue Jordan 4, and I kind of wanted to get into it because there's kind of some history behind the shoe, and some people wondering why did Tinker Hatfield create a colorway that Jordan never really wore on the court. So we're going to get into that momentarily, but if you guys hit on the shock drop, your boy did hit size 13. Shout out to Nike for getting this to me so promptly. I think a lot of people were able to get their deliveries. I want to say this is Tuesday. So if you got yours, that's good. But there's definitely a lot of history that we're going to kind of talk about with this shoe. You can see right here, again, size 13 with the cement box, the flight box. Let me put this down here. Let's get straight to it. Now, keep in mind, the Air Jordan 4 series kind of did a engineering upgrade by Nike. So Nike, what they did is they actually added, I'm going to bring this out real quick. So this is the Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined, which I'm still calling the Jordan 4, or at least the Jordan of the year. And of course, the Jordan 4 Bread from 2018, the original release. What they did by design on the upgraded series, and what you'll find in the military 4s, or military blue 4s, is that they upgraded the padding. So they put more padding towards the heel, or at least the sock liner, but they actually took some of the padding away from the actual side panel. So where you would normally see the netting on the newer models, they're more stiff. And I think they started doing this with the Jordan, I want to say it was the Jordan 4 SB Pine Green release, and you can notice the difference, right? So when you look at the 2018 Jordan 4, you notice that on that side panel where it's like flimsy, it's kind of flimsy, but it moves a little bit more, whereas theirs is kind of more stiff. And I think the reason why they did this by design is because some people were actually complaining about when you wear a Jordan 4 over time, it kind of pinches you in certain areas towards your toe. And I took a snapshot actually of the Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue on the inside to show kind of where you would normally see it on the actual original Jordan 4. Kind of like where the tongue and the upper meet up, and there's so much stitching involved that stitching, because it kind of points out in the shoe, is kind of pointing towards in your foot. So over time, I can see how that kind of irritates you. So just keep that in mind. Again, we'll put that down here. Let's kind of open this up and talk about the Air Jordan 4 Military Blues, or Industrial Blue, however you want to say it. Man, oh man. And some people were complaining about the color and stuff like that. Of course, this is kind of the paper. You're going to see this on a lot of YouTubers' channels. But I want to get to kind of like the history and why I think this shoe was released, but it wasn't worn. So, at least by Michael Jordan. Yes, man. Oh, man, oh, man. All right, let's talk about this shoe. And of course, the first thing that's going to pop out is the Nike Air branding on the heel. We haven't seen it since, I think, 1989, because there was a 1989 release. That's when it kind of first originally kind of came out. But then there was a 2006 release. There was a 2012 release, and that featured the Air Jordan logo, at least the Jumpman logo, on the back towards the heel. And the blues were kind of similar, but this industrial blue is closer to the 1989 release. So for those that may not like the blue hue, at least on this release, this is actually the closest it's been since 1989. It is also the first time since 1989, I should say, that we're seeing the Nike Air on the heel tab. So just keep that in mind. And of course, on the upper, the leather, people are going to have their comments about this, but leather is kind of synthetic. And of course, along that mud guard, you got like the Durabuck, or some people will call it Nubuck. I think this is more Durabuck, like the original when it came out. But the concept of the design, when you hear the term military, we also have to keep in mind that Michael Jordan, in his families, the Jordan family, military was pretty much everything. So look no further than his father, right? So before we get into that, because I'm gonna kind of dive into that, understand that when Tinker Hatfield, the creator of the Air Jordan 4, he released the Air Jordan 4 colorways in 4 different colors. 3 of them obviously close to what Jordan had, Chicago Bulls, red, white, and black was kind of the theme. So you had the white cement, and you also had the black, or the breads, the black and red, as well as the fire red 4s. So, but these colors kind of resonate. They come close to the Chicago Bulls colorway. This one, not so much. So why on earth would Tinker Hatfield create an OG colorway that Jordan could never wear on the court? Michael Jordan's father, this is kind of the theory, served in the military. So you hear the term military 4 or military blue, and you got to think about what branch did Jordan's father serve in terms of the military. Look no farther than the Air Force. And when you look at the Air Force blue, you put them side by side. Again, this is just a theory. It kind of makes sense, right? When you look at the Air Jordan 4, think of kind of like World War II, those fighter planes. Because when you're looking at the netting, at least around on the upper, I look at the netting, and now that I kind of correlate the Jordan 4 to World War II planes, the first thing I'm thinking of is cargo netting. So you look at a cargo net, and you look at the netting on the actual Jordan 4, boom, similarities right there. And then you look at the 4 wings, at least the eye stays, or they call it like the waffle style eyelets. When you look at this by design, it's funny because, again, that plain concept, if you were to take a Jordan 4 and you unlace the top, and you see the flaps, right, towards the top, you look at the heel, and you could actually say that this is kind of like a plane, right? Because this would be the tail end of a plane. These flaps, when you kind of take them out, right? I'm just saying, hey, listen, I'm just saying it's something to think about when you look at the industrial blues, or at least the military 4 blues by design, because it's Jordan's way of paying homage to, I want to say, not just his father, but just the military in general, like within his family. Because let's face it, there's quite a few rich history. If I'm not mistaken, somebody in his family served also in the army as well. But anyway, continuing on with the actual shoe, when you look at the outsole, multi-directional herringbone, this is the staple of the Jordan 3 and 4 series in terms of similarities by design. But some people call it the greatest traction of all time. And some people say, listen, I don't know how on earth Jordan was able to ball in these shoes. We use them nowadays as like a lifestyle shoe. And I could kind of see that. But of course, the mesh that you see on the tongue behind the netting was designed for breathability. I will say this, because of that newer design that they utilize on the upgraded Jordan 4 series, when you put a light behind, and you'll see like a video right here, but when you put the light behind it, you can actually see the light illuminate behind the mesh. Whereas on the older models, you don't see it as much, because there's like, I feel like there's like extra padding on the inside that prohibits that light to shine through. But if you take it in the newer models, you'll see that light shine right through. So just keep that in mind. And of course, you got that plastic Nike Air tag. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the 1989 model, when it first came out, and somebody has to kind of fact check me on this, but it was kind of similar to this. You didn't really have, I don't know if I have the chains, but you didn't really have like that kind of chain style tag, if that makes sense. It was kind of like this plastic looking tag. But of course, 1989, man, I want to say I was like 5. So, yeah, it is what it is. But comment below. Let me know what you think about the Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue. This is supposed to come out May 4th, if I'm not mistaken. That's if Nike doesn't decide to redo the date. I noticed that they started shifting certain Jordan releases to later dates. They kind of kept this, or at least pushed this back to May 4th. Originally it was something May 25th, and the shock drop happened. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Nike right now, but all I have to say is, look, thank you, Nike, for this hookup, because this is dope. And of course, you got that oversized tongue with the Air Jordan logo on the inside. I believe back then, back in the day, when they wore these Air Jordan 4s, as I'm getting text messages all the time, the flap on these tongues could flip over. So, you know, that's why when you look at the Air Jordan logo, you see a picture right here, it's upside down because it used to flap over. And that used to be the style back in the day. That's all I'm saying. Before we do that on feet, one thing I will say, and what I do notice, is that people are going to ask, what is, let me just put this right here, what is the shoe of the year? In terms of both releases, is the Air Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined or the Air Jordan 4 Military Blues? I think it's tough to say. Me personally, because I'm like that the 80s baby, I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 4 Bread for now over the Military 4s, or Military Blue 4, Industrial Blue, whatever you want to call it. But what I do notice is that the younger crowd, at least the younger generation, prefers this colorway over this colorway. That's kind of what I've been noticing. I asked my son, you know, what one he preferred without, I mean, it was no hesitation. He just picked this right away. But then I asked my wife and I asked other people about, you know, which one you prefer. Every single one of them said the Air Jordan 4 Bread. So I think it depends on who you ask. But right now, for me, personally, I love the Breads more than I love the Military Blues. But I appreciate both of them. Your boy Magnificent Man, comment below. Let me know what you think about the Industrial Blue Air Jordan 4s. I'm going to do that on feet. And your boy has been under the weather. I can't believe I just did this entire video sick. Yes, I'm sick, but you can't really tell, can you? Boy Magnificent Man, Air Jordan 4, Military Blues, Industrial Blues, whatever you want to call it. This is definitely the closest it's been to the 1989 version. Appreciate the Jordan brand. Listen, I'm happy. That's all I got to say. I missed out on the Kobe's, but now, and seeing this like for the first time, you start to appreciate it more. And then you start looking at the backstory and how the military kind of meant to Jordan himself, and then you're kind of seeing the shoe beyond just the actual shoe and kind of seeing the story behind it. It works hand in hand. But your boy Magnificent Man, the flight on the tongue, man. Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue. Let's do that on feet. I am out, and you guys stay blessed. Thank you.